Oh man, I feel like whenever money gets involved, especially on this level, things can get very murky very quickly. My name is ESO, and in this video I'll be giving you the too long did not read version of events as to why the Skyrim Together mod was taken down. Now of course there are many huge modding projects within the Elder Scrolls Skyrim community, but not a single one of those projects has ever made the same level of income that the Skyrim multiplayer mod Skyrim Together achieved in 1 month, which was 35,000 per month on Patreon. And we will be getting into just exactly how legal that is in a moment. But rather unfortunately guys, even if you want to check out the Skyrim multiplayer mod for yourself, Skyrim Together has been taken down by the team themselves. And as of now, we are unsure as to when the open beta will be available and what exactly the future holds for Skyrim Together. Now, before we get into who and why and where, I just want to state that Skyrim Together was a mod we all wanted and we all loved it. It was the closest attempt anybody has ever come to making Skyrim multiplayer possible. Not just with 2 players, but with up to 8 people in the same game at the same time, everything synchronized together, and the enemies would level to how many people were in the game. It was just so smart how everything was figured out, and I was nothing but a fan of this mod. Indeed, the mod still has the future scope to support up to 60 players at once on one server, and this was all made by a team of about 10 people. Now, despite Skyrim Together having many bugs and crashes, it is and was a work in progress in early access, which we all wanted to succeed. I think we can unanimously agree on that front. But now let's look at some of the issues people had with the Skyrim Together mod, which led to it in part being taken down. Now, the Reddit user, iBoost4Free, puts this rather well in a post just here, pointing out that in order to play Skyrim Together, you needed to subscribe to their Patreon. $1 would get you access to the mod with a sub 10 tick rate server, while $20 would get you access to the mod but with a 60 tick rate server, and this would also give you early access to new patches and builds, which were kind of necessary, I would say personally, in my own experience. Also though, since you cannot actually host your own servers, and the Skyrim Together team have stated that they don't plan on allowing people to do so anytime soon, you're kind of tied into paying for access of this Skyrim multiplayer mod. Now, iBoost4Free also points out that this is clearly monetizing or selling a Skyrim mod under the disguise of donations as he puts them, while at the same time denying users a more enjoyable game experience by not allowing them to host servers and hiding the good servers. And indeed guys, if we do look at Skyrim Together's Patreon, we can clearly see that in the weeks following launch, the mod was at a staggering $35,000 for a 10-person team, which is $3,500 per person per month, assuming it all gets split equally. Now, on a personal note, I actually think that they deserve this money. I think, and I'm happy to pay for this service. In fact, this case shows how monetizable mods are and how much money there is in this gaming industry if you come up with the right platform and the right way to monetize something. You know, Fallout 76 was, in my opinion, one of the worst examples of a multiplayer game in its own right. If they just added multiplayer to Fallout 4, I feel like people would have enjoyed that much more. Or if Bethesda just added multiplayer to Skyrim themselves and said, okay, it's $5 per month or something, people would have enjoyed that more. But here we are anyway. The thing is though, is that this was a subscription model created by someone that was not Bethesda, a mod creator, a fan of the game. So as iBoost4Free points out in his Reddit posts, this practice may be violating Bethesda's EULA. Now, if we actually take a look at Bethesda's Creation Kit EULA, it clearly states here, you may not cause or permit the sale or any other commercial exploration, e.g. by renting, licensing, sublicensing, leasing, disseminating, uploading, downloading, transmitting, whether on a pay-per-play basis or otherwise, or any new materials without the express prior written consent of an authorized representative of Bethesda Softworks. Now, in short, this basically says you cannot sell in any way our content, our game, without written consent from us. Now, the Skyrim Together team responded to this with this statement, saying that we have talked to them and we have received the green light to make our mod available as long as it's free. And as we have said countless times, it will be free on release. We are far from real release. Currently, the mod is unstable and has had a lot of features disabled. Now, the issue here, guys, is saying that it will be free on release. Which obviously, yeah, once the mod comes out, it'll be free. Anyone can download it and play it. Fantastic. However, saying that it's going to be free on release is all very well, but since the only way we can access it in the closed beta is to pay for access, it is actually still currently in breach of Bethesda's EULA. Whether the Skyrim Together mod is going to be free in the future is irrelevant. They're still basically asking people to pay a subscription service for access to this Skyrim mod. Now, I've asked my friend who's a lawyer to confirm this, but in most cases these things are extremely black and white, and though this might seem like a little bit of a loophole through the system that they've come up with, I think if Bethesda really wanted to, they could come down like a ton of bricks on these mod creators. Which is sad, because I personally think, and I've always said this, I've been nothing of an advocate for modders to get a decent wage and massive paychecks if they create something that the community wants. So honestly, guys, congratulations, well done. Like 35 grand, man, that's massive. That's awesome. Even like between 10 people, that's like the biggest, the best a mod has ever performed in the Skyrim modding community. However, I just want to say, like, be really careful here, because you're playing with fire. Bethesda has been very well known to sue people for much less than this. Though in terms of when modders do something wrong, Bethesda usually just slaps them on the wrist the first time and says, don't do that, stop doing it, it's not okay, you're technically, not meant to do this. And I've had cases in the past where I've emailed them saying, can I do X and Y? And they've said yes or no. But in this case, I think you've kind of taken what they've said and extruded it in your own way and exploited it to get money out of it. Maybe not intentionally, but I don't think what you're doing there is legal. I think things get a little bit more questionable and dangerous when you've made 35k in a month, which is a lot of money, whether you like it or not, and it's off the back of somebody else's IP and their game. That's the reason people want to play Skyrim multiplayer. It's not your game, but you've enabled the multiplayer, which is awesome. But the only reason people are paying that much for it is because it's Skyrim. People love the game and they want multiplayer. People have been wanting it for ages. It's not a bad thing, I'm just saying you've got to be careful there. And the difference between this situation and other Skyrim modding projects like Beyond Skyrim or Skyblivion is that people who donate to those projects are simply donating to support said project. They're not buying early access to the game, they're just supporting it. You can't sell someone else's IP. But the Skyrim Together story goes further still. Another post from the creator of the SKSE script extender for Skyrim that allows the use of lots of extra Skyrim features and different animation mods and everything like that. So it's a really crucial mod for the Skyrim modding community in general. Well, this creator in this Reddit post here claimed that the Skyrim Together team was stealing his source code. Now the post goes on into detail about the evidence for this. Skyrim Together responded to this though, apologizing for not having removed all of the code from their base code, even though they were apparently not using it anymore. Now, I am no expert at all when it comes to game code, and I can't really tell you whether this is true or not because I have zero understanding of it, but I can imagine it would be very frustrating for the original owner of SKSE, especially if he's potentially losing out on 35 grand of money because this mod was effectively monetized. So that was my TLDR on why the Skyrim Together mod was taken down prematurely. Moving forward though, the team are apparently looking forward to the open beta, but we have no ETA on when this is going to be. Remember, these guys aren't doing this as their full-time job, so it could be 6 months from now, it could be a year from now, we just don't know. And given the current controversy, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more late than early. And especially considering there seems to be some kind of unresolved conflict between the creator of SKSC and Skyrim Together that apparently has, more history than just this conversation to it. As for my personal thoughts though, guys, I can't wait to jump into Skyrim Together multiplayer when it becomes open beta with all of you. And if you can afford it, by all means continue to support these guys in making that possible, because I think it's an awesome dream. And these guys are fighting for the greater good, and at the end of the day, I feel like they deserve the money. Whether it's legal or not isn't up to me. I don't own the IP of Skyrim or Bethesda, so, I don't care. I think all the more power to them for getting, some money out of it. But at the same time, be careful, guys. Be careful. But thanks for watching me, ESO. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to stay updated on the latest news here. And I'll probably keep following up-to-date videos on this modding project, because Skyrim multiplayer is something I've always been excited and interested in, and I've always wanted to play with my fans. That's a big thing for me. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.